You know how some stories just feel good? They leave you with this warm, kind of glowing feeling inside? But what's the secret sauce? What's the formula? Well, today we're going to be detectives. We're going to dissect that feeling and break down the science and the art of what makes a story truly, genuinely heartwarming.
So to do this, we're going to need a test subject, a case study, and we've got the perfect one. It's a really simple short story about a badger named Barnaby. We are going to deconstruct his little journey piece by piece to see what makes a heartwarming story tick.
So let's meet our hero. Barnaby is, well, he's not exactly a ray of sunshine, is he? The first thing we learn is that he's grumpy. He huffs, he puffs, he shuffles. This is our starting line. A character who, let's be honest, has a lot of room to grow.
And here's his whole transformation, laid out in a nutshell. It's so simple. We start with a grumpy badger. Then he has this chance encounter with a kind flower. And that one little moment leads to a huge change in how he sees the world. It's a classic three-part story: the setup, the conflict, or in this case, the connection, and then the resolution. Simple, elegant, and you know what? It works.
Okay, so it's a sweet story. We feel it. But our job here is to understand it. What are the specific ingredients that came together to create that feeling? That's the big question we're going to tackle right now. First up, let's talk about the main character. The magic of a story like this doesn't actually start with what happens to the character, it starts with the character themselves. We've got to have someone we can connect with, even if that someone is, a grumpy badger. And this right here is such a key point. We don't connect with Barnaby in spite of his grumpiness. We connect with him because of it. I mean, come on, we've all had those days, right? Where you just want to huff and puff and shuffle. By showing us his flaws, the story invites us to understand him, not to judge him. And that right there is how you build empathy. Exactly. This quote absolutely nails it. Perfect characters are frankly kind of boring. It's the imperfections, the struggles, the emotional baggage. That's what makes a character feel real to us. Barnaby's grumpiness isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's the very thing that lets us in. In a way, writing a good character is a lot like drawing one. You don't just get a finished product instantly. You start with that main outline, that big stripe. Then you add some texture, some fluff. You give them that scruffy character that makes them unique. Then you layer in the softer tones, pop in those final little details, and suddenly a full personality just emerges. Okay, let's move on to our second ingredient. So Barnaby doesn't just bump into any old plant. He meets a sun petal flower. And in storytelling, some objects are way more than just objects. They're symbols, and they are packed with meaning that does a ton of heavy lifting for the story. Now, a sun petal flower immediately makes you think of a sunflower. And with that one image, you get all of this incredible symbolism: adoration, loyalty, hope, pure happiness. The story doesn't have to spend a paragraph telling us the flower is kind. The symbol shows us in an instant. And get this symbol isn't something storytellers just made up recently. It has incredibly deep cultural roots. For over 8,000 years, sunflowers have been a major part of human life. All of that history gives the symbol an unbelievable amount of power and weight. This old myth is just beautiful, and it really gets to the core of what a sunflower represents. It's all about unwavering adoration and positivity. So when Barnaby's little flower sings to him, a grumpy badger, it's this act of pure, unconditional kindness, and it echoes this ancient story of devotion. It's brilliant. So, what do we have? We have a relatable grump and a powerful symbol of happiness. You put them together, and you get our third key ingredient: the unlikely friendship. The dynamic between the cynical badger and the ever-cheerful flower, that's where the real magic of this story starts to spark. And I mean, think about it. So many of our most beloved stories are built on this exact idea. You've got Wilbur the pig and Charlotte the spider. You've got little Sophie the orphan and the big friendly giant. Or Mowgli the man cub and Baloo the bear. This pairing of opposites, the vulnerable and the strong, the cynic and the optimist, it's a timeless recipe for powerful storytelling. It shows us that connection can bridge literally any gap. Okay, so we've got our three core ingredients all laid out: a relatable character, a powerful symbol, and an unlikely friendship. Now let's look at how they all get mixed together to create the emotional peak of the story. This is what we're aiming for, the ah moment. You know the one. It's that scene where everything just clicks into place and all that emotional investment you've put in as a reader totally pays off. It's not just a happy moment, it's a moment that feels earned. But you can't just force it. A genuine heartwarming moment, a real one, it has to follow a few rules. It's got to flow naturally from the story. It needs to feel sincere, not like it's trying to manipulate you. And most importantly, it has to be built up. It can't just come out of nowhere. And this brings us right back to Barnaby. That first little smile is the all moment. And it works so well because the story followed all the rules. It was totally earned. His grumpiness is what made the smiles so meaningful. The flower's symbolic kindness made the interaction feel powerful. And their unlikely friendship made the whole transformation feel, well, magical and true. So we've kind of cracked the code, we've figured out the formula. But why do we even tell these kinds of stories, especially to kids? It's about way more than just getting a fleeting, nice feeling. There's a much deeper purpose at play here. And here it is. This is the why. Stories like Barnaby's are basically empathy engines. They're like little training grounds for our hearts. They give us a safe place to explore big emotions and to see how powerful kindness can be. They're tools that teach us compassion. They show us that people, or badgers, can change, and they help us find, just like the quote says, the best version of ourselves. It really makes you think, doesn't it? When you look back, what story was it for you? Which characters, which strange and unlikely friendships first showed you what it really meant to be kind? It's just a reminder of the incredible, lasting power of a simple, well-told, heartwarming story.